Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Sure.
Okay, great. All right, well, I'm Rochelle Lynn. I am the founder of the Just Happy Hours app, which I'm going to tell you about today. I'll show you this slide again at the end of the presentation in case you'd like to stay in contact with us. So a little bit about me. I spent a lot of time in traditional and digital marketing in my career, helping other people make money. And I've decided to put that effort towards some ideas that I have and see if I can have the same success for myself. So I have one app in development now. I have two others in a queue that are waiting for me to have the time and the capital to work on them. So Just Happy Hours is just the initial app in the first of a series of diverse apps. So how did I get the idea for Just Happy Hours? Well, I was working from home, and I've done that before. It's very nice to be able to work in your PJs, and that's pretty much the first thing anybody says to me when they hear that I work from home. It's very convenient. The negatives of that are there's no real work friend group. A lot of us as adults, once we get into our careers, that's where our friends are a lot, is at work. And then so it can be kind of isolating, it can be kind of lonely. So I didn't want to go back to the way I had been before. When I worked from home, I wanted to expand my social community. So I got on Meetup, and I thought about how I could create a social life for myself without having to go back to school or go into an office and create a friend group there, without having to have endless conversations before even meeting somebody, and just to have a nice evening out with no agenda, with new friends, chatting, having a couple of beverages, enjoying a meal, and then we all go home. So it's a no commitment kind of social activity. So as I worked with meetup.com, I found that there were some things I really wanted to improve on in terms of how it operates. The primary one being that on Meetup, the organizer has to actually pay to use it. When you realize right away, if you're doing something like happy hours, that it's actually the restaurants that are benefiting from what you're doing. You're bringing people into seats that wouldn't have been out at all otherwise. So I decided to go ahead and develop the app. Like I said, give myself that opportunity to use my marketing skills. I also wanted to be a bigger part of the tech world and make an impression there. So the way the Happy Hours app works is that it's free for users. They can schedule a happy hour in their area, and other users in the area are notified that the happy hour is occurring. So I've done this myself. I've never had a happy hour in Ocala, which is a relatively small market, where no one showed up. As fewest, I think, it's been about 6 people, and I've had as many as 35 coming in and having drinks, dinner. Lots of great conversation, very welcoming, fun group. I recommend that you join if you'd like. And so I know that the concept actually works. For restaurants, they would have free standard listings on the app because we want to give the user choices as to where to go. So we don't want to charge restaurants right off the bat. What we will have is an expanded listing called a gold membership. The restaurants pay a quarterly fee, and then they have an expanded listing. They can create their own happy hours, say for special events like trivia nights, fight nights, things like that, where they really want to fill seats. They'd be able to charge for those seats, which some of them actually do now. So it'd be even more incremental income for the restaurants. So I also looked, of course, at the industry to see if this would be supported. And the fact of the matter is that there's lots of people moving around in this country, especially in and out of certain cities. There are, over 40 million people moving each year. There's a lot of people planning moves each year, planning relocations. That means a lot of times that they're going to job interviews into a completely new city. Going into a quick happy hour with somebody could help them figure out where to live, where are the best schools, what was the reputation of the company within that community, all kinds of helpful information that they're not going to get from an interview. Great for traveling for work, and of course for tourists who want to meet locals and see, what the best things are to do in that town from somebody who actually knows the area. Also have to look at the restaurant market. There's a lot of money, as we can see, being generated from food and drink sales for restaurants. At the same time, that market's becoming incredibly competitive. I mean, just look around how many restaurants are here competing for our business in Ocala right now, and it's even more dense in larger cities. 30% of their beverage sales are actually already generated by happy hour or the late night happy hours. So what we can do is help them build on that, help them put more people in the seats for those hours when we know that they're generating a good portion of their revenue. So here's the revenue model for just happy hours, which I've gone over a little bit, but that's a lot of people's question. They're like, well, if it's free for users and it's free for restaurants, how are you going to make money? Well, of course, there's in-app advertising. When an app is free for users, you can run advertising on it. And our demo, from the ages of about 29 to say 55, people with disposable income who have the time, energy, and desire to go out, is a good one for a lot of advertisers. And then we also, of course, have the gold memberships. Those are another way for us to generate revenue. So challenges, the first one is that the app has not launched. So it's launching in May, the Android version. So I've been trying to develop an audience, which is tough when you don't have a product yet. I did try crowdfunding and failed. At my first campaign, I kind of jumped into it with both feet instead of doing a lot of research, but I did learn a lot, and I am going to try it again. And I did raise some money, so at least it wasn't a complete failure. It's just that on Kickstarter, if you don't make your goal, your project's not funded. Just Happy Hours has a part-time CEO. That can be tough. I do have a regular full-time job, and so not as much time as I want to spend on the app, but make do by working quickly on some evenings and weekends. Also, I want to position this app as not being a dating app, and that's hard for people when they hear that concept of I can meet people. That branding is really important to the app because it is all about that no pressure friend community that you're creating. And then we've also had some database challenges, which are just the sort of big animal of having a restaurant database that has all the listings in it plus their happy hours, and that's something that I'm kind of working through at the moment for development. So here's my closing information. Again, I would love for you to sign up to beta test the app when it comes out in May. The iOS version will be out this summer, and I do need people to give me feedback on how the app is working, what they would expect to see in that but they're not seeing, and other things so that we can keep going, developing in an incremental way that's really going to benefit both our users and our restaurants. Thank you.